Hello, I'm Rebecca, and this is Life with the Fritz. And I am about to share an excerpt from a book. It is called Conversations with God, and it's about love and relationships. Now, I don't consider myself to be a religious person. I rarely go to church. I did get baptized just because everyone kept bugging me about it, and I kept just running into this over and over, so I figured, what the heck, I'll get baptized. But I do not practice Christianity. I do believe in Jesus, but I'm not an avid practicer of any religion. I've studied many different religions, and I look for the commonalities in all. There's a common thread that runs through everything, and I really think that is important and a very strong indication of truth. There are, Aboriginal tribes that have been, practicing their own stuff for hundreds or thousands of years, and it still resonates with common theology. So just to get that out of the way, I don't consider myself to be an atheist. I don't consider myself to be a religious person. I consider myself to be spiritual. So I'm looking for all the common threads. This really, really, really hit me very strongly. I wrote it down probably about 10 years ago, and I've used it as a guidepost in my romantic relationships especially, but also in general for every relationship. The strongest premise in what I'm about to read is that we are supposed to be helping each other become interdependent, not dependent as in, I'm good at this, so I'll be your crutch, and you're good at this, so you can be my crutch. I really believe it's about strengthening weaknesses and everybody becoming more independent all around. So, about to move forward with this. Hopefully my children will be quiet while I'm recording. CWG on love and relationships. Learn what is the soul's desire and go with that. Go with the soul. What the soul is after is the highest feeling of love you can imagine. This is the soul's desire. This is its purpose. The soul is after the feeling, not the knowledge, but the feeling. It already has the knowledge, but knowledge is conceptual. Feeling is experiential. The soul wants to feel itself, and thus to know itself in its own experience. The highest feeling is the experience of unity with all that is. This is the great return to truth for which the soul yearns. This is the feeling of perfect love. It also happens to be the feeling that most people get when they're trying to get high. Except love is something that's real and lasting, and these other means to get to the ends are fleeting and illusory and often cause more problems than they solve. So just keep that in mind. Perfect love is to feeling what perfect white is to color. Many think that white is the absence of color. It is not. It is the inclusion of all color. White is every other color that exists combined. So too is love not the absence of an emotion, hatred, anger, lust, jealousy, covetousness, but the summation of all feeling. It is the sum total, the aggregate amount, the everything. Thus, for the soul to experience perfect love, it must experience every human feeling. How can I have compassion on that which I don't understand? How can I forgive in another that which I have never experienced in myself? Get out of the upstairs now and off the stairwell. I am in the middle of something. Goodbye. Good night. Where was I? How can I have compassion on that which I don't understand? How can I forgive in another that which I have never experienced in myself? So we see both the simplicity and the awesome magnitude of the soul's journey. There is a way to be happy in relationships, and that is to use relationships for their intended purpose, not the purpose you have designed. Relationships are constantly challenging, constantly calling you to create, express, and experience higher and higher aspects of yourself, grander and grander visions of yourself, ever more magnificent versions of yourself. Nowhere can you do this more immediately, impactfully, and immaculately than in relationships. Human relationships are constructive in the highest sense. They can be used, must be used, are being used to construct who you really are. Bless, therefore, every relationship and hold each as special and formative of who you are and now choose to be. When human love relationships fail, they fail because they were entered into for the wrong reason. Most people enter into relationships with an eye towards what they can get out of them rather than what they can put into them. The purpose of a relationship is to decide what part of yourself you'd like to see show up, not what part of another you can capture and hold and possess and obsess over and cause issues over and ruminate and stalk and abuse. It is very romantic to say that you were nothing until that special other came along. But it is not true. Worse, it puts an incredible pressure on the other to be all sorts of things he or she is not. Not wanting to let you down, they try very hard to be and do those things until they cannot anymore. They can no longer complete your picture of them. They can no longer fill the roles to which they have been assigned. Resentment builds. Anger follows. Finally, in order to save themselves and the relationship, these special others begin to reclaim their real selves, acting more in accordance with who they really are. It is about this time that you say they've really changed. It is very romantic to say that now that your special other has entered your life, you feel complete. Yet the purpose of relationship is not to have another who might complete you, but to have another with whom you might share your completeness. Here's the paradox. You have no need for a particular other in order for you to experience fully who you are, and without another, you are nothing. The problem is so basic, so simple, and yet so tragically misunderstood. Your grandest dream, your highest idea, and your fondest hope has had to deal with your beloved other rather than your beloved self. The test has had to do with how well the other lived up to your ideas and how well you saw yourself living up to theirs. Yet the only true test has to do with how well you live up to yours. Relationships fail when you see them as life's grandest opportunity to create and produce the experience of your highest conceptualization of another instead of yourself. Let each person in relationship worry about self. What self is being, doing, and having. What self is wanting, asking, giving. What self is seeking, creating, experiencing. And all relationships would magnificently serve their purpose and their participants. Let each person worry not about the other, but only about the self. This seems a strange teaching, for you have been told that in the highest form of relationship, one worries only about the other. Yet I tell you this, your focus upon the other, your obsession with the other, is what causes relationships to fail. What is the other being, doing, having, saying, wanting, demanding, thinking, expecting, planning? The master understands that it doesn't matter what they are doing. It only matters what you are being in relationship to that. The most loving person is the person who is self-centered. If you cannot love yourself, you cannot love another. Now listen before you... Exactly. I know. Self-centered. If you cannot love yourself, you cannot love another. Many people make the mistake of seeking love of self through love of another. Of course, they don't realize they're doing this. It is not a conscious effort. It's what's going on in the mind, in the subconscious. They think if I can just love others, they'll love me. Then I will be lovable and I can love me. The reverse of this is that so many people hate themselves because they feel there is not another who loves them. This is a sickness. It's when people are truly lovesick, because the truth is other people do love them, but it doesn't matter. No matter how many people profess their love for them, it is not enough. First, they don't believe you. They think you're trying to manipulate them, trying to get something. They sit around trying to figure out how anyone could actually love them. So they don't believe you and want to make you prove it. You have to prove that you love them. To do this, they may ask you to start altering your behavior. Second, if they finally come to a place where they can believe you love them, they begin at once to worry about how long they can keep your love. In other words, losing it. So in order to hold on to your love, they start altering their behavior. Thus, two people literally lose themselves in a relationship. They get into the relationship hoping to find themselves, and they lose themselves instead. This losing of the self in a relationship is what causes most of the bitterness in such couplings. Two people join together in a partnership hoping that the whole will be greater than the sum of the parts, which it can be, only to find that it's less. They feel less than when they were single. Less capable, less able, less exciting, less attractive, less joyful, less content. This is because they are less. They've given up most of who they are in order to be and to stay in their relationship. Relationships were never meant to be this way, yet this is how they are experienced by more people than you can ever know. And now I have to stop my recording because I have small children that just refuse to go to bed. How will I ever have anything outside of momhood? How can I be a human being, an actual person with privacy and goals and dreams of my own outside of doing dishes and washing laundry and cooking food and correcting and teaching and showing and cleaning? I can't. I try. I am trying. At any rate, I've shared this excerpt from Conversations with God about love and relationships because I really do truly believe that people should be becoming stronger in relationship with each other, not just leaning on each other and then when they're not around falling down because they're using other people as crutches and using them for the wrong purpose. My name, again, is Rebecca Fritz. This is Life with the Fritz, and I hope that you will like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot of very dramatic and diverse videos in the days, weeks, and months to come. So I hope you will join me. Thank you.